In today's video, I'll share with you the best art advice that I could ever give you according to one of my art students. Welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Leslie, an artist, illustrator, and former university art professor, and I make videos about drawing, painting, and my painting adventures. About a year ago, I asked my 22-year-old daughter, who I taught to draw and paint, to tell me the best art advice that I ever gave her. I thought it would be something to do with portraiture or value, but she surprised me by mentioning one of the most simple things that I tell all of my art students, and it's this: pretend you're an alien. Let me explain. Let me explain what I mean. You've been on this planet a long time, and your brain has developed a vast amount of knowledge about the world that we live in. Most of the time, this knowledge is valuable and keeps you safe, like how to tell when a vehicle is moving and to stay out of its path. Or that when you see a flame on the stove, you don't want to touch it, or you can burn yourself. And your brain has also learned many different facts, like that trees have branches that grow out of a trunk and have thousands of green leaves. And your brain is constantly asserting that knowledge into everything that you do, which is fantastic when you're wanting to do well in school, or get a coveted job, or just navigate around the world. But which isn't always so helpful when you're drawing and painting. For instance, if you're a new artist and you're looking at a tree, your brain is going to search for validation of the things that it already knows. Green leaves, check. Branches, check. Thousands of leaves, check. And then it's going to tell your hand to draw or paint those things. This is clever, right? Well, not always. That vast bank of knowledge can actually be a huge deterrent for artists. But if you pretend you're an alien and you've just landed on the planet, it's going to trick your brain into being quiet and allowing your eyes to do the work. Pretend you're an alien who has just landed on the planet, and your only job is to draw and paint everything that you see in this new world. You're from an advanced planet that supports the arts. You don't know that trees have branches and thousands of leaves, and you certainly don't have any preconceived notions that trees are green. So you're going to draw and paint what you see. You'll notice that there are light parts and dark parts and some areas in between. And so that's what you're going to draw and paint. You don't know that trees have lots of branches that grow out of a trunk. You only know that sometimes you see some dark lines or light lines hidden in the middle. So that's what you're going to put in. And you don't have any preconceived ideas that leaves are green. So you're going to notice pops of other colors like purples and reds and oranges and yellows. And you're going to include all of it. Pretending you're an alien is a fancy way of telling you to draw what you see, but it's more than that, because it actually gives you the tools to understand how to do that and to trick your brain into taking a back seat and allowing your eyes to do the work. And this is vital if you're going to effectively draw and paint realistically. If you're a human arts student, you've probably been taught all about atmospheric perspective and how objects that are closer are warmer and darker, and ones that are farther away are cooler and lighter. And while that's generally true, there are many exceptions, so you have to be careful not to impose your knowledge onto your paintings without allowing your eyes to study the scene. If you're an alien, you may come from a planet with a different atmosphere, so you're only looking at and recording what you see in this new world. And sometimes it may be true that objects that are farther away are lighter and bluer, but sometimes it might not. And it won't matter, because in every painting, you're putting down what you see and not what you know. You're allowing your eyes to be the boss. If you're a human drawing a portrait, your brain is going to tell you that there are thousands of strands of hair on the human head, and that's what you're going to draw. That's why many beginning artists always draw what I call spaghetti hair. But if you're an alien, you don't know these things because you probably look different. So you're just going to notice different areas of shadows and highlights, and that's what you're going to record. As a human, you know that generally faces have two eyes, a nose, a mouth, and those are the things that you're probably going to be obsessed with looking at and drawing. This is why many artists create almond-shaped eyes, a triangular nose, and a curving mouth, and maybe skip the shading altogether. But as an alien, you're going to look for different shapes and patterns and shadows and highlights. And you're going to put those in first because you don't know words like eyes, nose, mouth, hair. So you'll record human faces as you see them and not as you know them to be. In fact, if you're a human drawing other humans, your brain can get quite assertive at telling you what's what. A leg, for instance, is long, so your brain will try to trick you into drawing things in a way that makes practical sense instead of how things actually look. It will completely ignore things like foreshortening when a figure is seated or lying down. And even if you've been taught foreshortening, you might have trouble doing it because your brain is busy bossing your hand around. But an alien doesn't care about things like that. An alien doesn't even know what a human leg is or what it's supposed to look like. It only cares about observing this new world and making quick sketches of what it actually sees. And to do that, it has to look. And that goes for choosing colors as well. A human is raised to know things like that the sky is blue, the grass is green, and that sand is tan. But an alien is going to observe our world a little bit more closely and notice things like that the sky can be different types of blue, or sometimes gray and purple, and that clouds aren't white, but that they have many different shades of pinks and yellows and purples and grays tinting them. And that grass has variations of different color in it, including different shades of green, but also sometimes yellows and browns and blues and reds, depending on the particular scene. And that sand is sometimes tan, but that it can also get dark when it's wet, or reflect the blue of the sky or the other things around it. An alien is going to spend more time observing and less time giving things attributes and names like eye, nose, mouth, beach, sand, hand. An alien doesn't know about the things that we take for granted and what we name them. Its job is to simply observe what it sees and to draw and paint that. And the same applies to everything that you might draw or paint. If you pretend you're an alien, you remind your brain to stay out of the way and allow your eyes to do the work. Try it and let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you all have a beautiful day and happy creating.